Hi, everybody.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Councilmember Lawson, I don't know if you heard,
I had my computer down, so sorry about that. What were you saying? I apologize.
Oh, I was saying that I do not have any items for the water update, if that helps you moderate the timing for the agenda.
Okay. Do you still want to, you're still going to be present, right? Or are you, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if
that'd
there's
be
any
great.
questions or if there's any way that I can help in Hannah's absence.
Okay. Is Roberto attending?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we'll move through this quickly. I'm still in Kansas City for this conference, so
Oh, nice.
yeah. So how is the snow there? It's cold here in Kansas City, but there's no snow, but it's freezing.
It's cold here.
Okay.
And
But this is a different cold because even though it's snowing there, it's really cold here.
yeah, I think we got about 5 inches on Capitol Hill where I live.
Okay.
Boulder at my mom's got about 9.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was not the storm I was hoping for, I'll tell you
But I
that.
should be able to come in. My flight should be okay, I hope, tomorrow. I hope.
Oh yeah, you should, well,
I think so. It's a little bit icy out there yesterday, but I'm down by Aurora Reservoir. It's nice, fluffy snow.
Is it? Okay, I like that. Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone working with my schedule. I apologize. I was sitting on a panel, and so there is an hour difference in the time. So I'm on Central Time, and so thank you for working with me. I will make sure that I'm whatever. And it looks like Councilmember
worries.
Marcano is here, but he needs to be promoted as a panelist. And then hi, Roberto.
Hi there.
Hi, Roberto.
Hey, Tati.
Once we get Councilmember Marcano on, then we'll just go ahead and dive in. Because I think we have everybody, don't we? Or Peggy's out of town, and who else do we? Okay, hi Juan.
Oh, Gardner's here. All right, never mind.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I thank everyone for being here and adjusting with my time. So I really do appreciate you both, my committee members and all of the staff. We don't have any consent items. Councilmember Gardner and Councilmember Marcano, do you have approval of the minutes?
Look good to me.
Okay, and Councilmember Gardner, I know that you're having some issues with your microphone. Do you want to put something in the chat?
Nope, I can hear you. I'm good with them.
Okay. So we'll move those forward and I will get those signed. Do we have Lori?
I don't see her. She was having a flight delayed, and I don't know if she was able to join. So maybe we can. I'll text her. Maybe we can go with the state first, and then see if she jumps on. I'll text her right now.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move to the next item, the state legislative update. It looks like we have Tatsi and Cami.
Well, good afternoon, and I hope you travel safely tomorrow back home. So last week was the culmination of many long months of election commercials, ads, and craziness. But we finally have everything settled in the House and in the Senate in the state. The General Assembly, which meets on January 9th, will, the House members are now, the makeup of the House now is 46 Democrats to 29 Republicans, which constitutes a supermajority for that chamber. In the state Senate, there are 12 Republicans to the 23 Democrats. That is almost a supermajority. And what a supermajority means is that they have veto power. They can override a veto if the governor should veto any of their policies that they send to his desk. Typically doesn't happen because usually the party in charge stays with their governor if he's of the same party. But with the makeup of this body, who knows what will happen. They also held their elections, leadership elections last week. And while the House had to wait for a couple of races to be called, they had their elections last Friday, and the Speaker of the House is Julie McCluskey from Dillon. The House Majority Leader is Monica Duran from Lakewood. The Assistant House Majority Leader is Jennifer Bacon from Denver. Their Joint Budget Committee members are Shannon Bird from Westminster and Emily Sirota of Denver. Their majority co-whips are Iman Judah from Aurora and Andrew Bazenecker from Fort Collins. And we should note that Andy is the only male in House leadership for this legislature. The co-caucus chairs are Mandy Lindsay from Aurora and Brianna Titone from Arvada. The House Republicans, with their 19 members, selected or elected House Minority Leader is Mike Lynch from Wellington. The Assistant House Minority Leader is Rose Pugliese. I'm going to have to learn how to say her name. She's from Colorado Springs. Joint Budget Committee member is Rod Bockenfeld from Bennett. The House Minority Whip is Richard Holtorf, and the Minority Caucus Chair in the House Republicans body is Mary Bradfield from actually she's from Fountain, but El Paso County. The Senate Democrats had very few changes, but there were a couple. Senate President is still Steve Fenberg from Boulder. The President Pro Tem is James Coleman from Denver. Dominic Moreno will continue as Senate Majority Leader, and he's from Commerce City. Robert Rodriguez from Denver bested Rhonda Fields for the Assistant Senate Majority Leader title. Their Budget Committee members are Rachel Zenzinger from Westminster as chair and Jeff Bridges from Inglewood. The Majority Whip is Julie Gonzalez from Denver, and Majority Caucus Chair is Senator Buckner, Janet Buckner from Aurora. The Senate Republicans elected Paul Lundeen from Monument as the Minority Leader. Their Assistant Minority Leader is Bob Gardner from Colorado Springs. Their Joint Budget Committee member is Bob Rankin from Carbondale. The Minority Whip will be Barbara Kirkmeyer from Brighton. But no, she's not from Brighton. I'm sorry. She's from Johnstown. And the Minority Caucus Chair is Jim Smallwood from Parker. Let me get back to you guys. So that's a wrap up of those races. It was a little bit on the unorganized side for the House Democrats, given the fact that there were 3 seats that were still too close to call on Thursday, but they went through rather rapidly once they got there. There were many contested races, but I think only 2 of the elections took more than 1 ballot on Friday with the House. Also new is that Alec Garnett, former speaker, is now chief of staff for Governor Polis. And that takes us into some legislation that we're hearing about. The governor's office and the administration is looking at a statewide zoning bill, and no one really knows what that entails. They aren't holding stakeholder meetings yet, and they're being very, very close-mouthed on it. But it's more than likely coming from environmental groups and maybe some developers. They're looking at density issues in order to promote more affordable housing. There's some hemming and hawing about why cities aren't getting this done. So the administration and some of the leadership are thinking that maybe we just need a statewide zoning bill to go through. The couple of things that popped up in the last few days are Elizabeth Epps, who is now my state representative, will be bringing back right to rest. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, and you guys will share that as soon as we get it. They are looking at making car thefts all car thefts a felony, no matter what the value of the vehicle is. I don't know who that sponsor is going to be yet, but given that we are number one in the nation, that's something that this legislature would like to fix. And last year, there was a bill, if you'll recall, it was House Bill 1131, and it reduced justice involvement for young children, which meant that they were increasing the age that a juvenile could be involved in the justice system from 10 to 14. And the bill that passed last year was a study, and now I guess Serena Gonzalez Gutierrez would like to proceed with that as she had it written last year. Again, when we get copies of this, I'm more than happy to share.
Patsy, can I just ask a question on that?
Of
I know
course.
last year it was a study. Have they, I mean, and you know, they're going to proceed. Was there anything outcomes from the study, or is it just, was it, I'm trying to understand. I know you got to get more information, but if it was a study, how are they going to proceed with some legislation?
I think what will happen and what typically happens with these studies is that the outcomes of the studies are presented at the SMART hearings. And
But
then
has that been done though already?
No, the
Okay.
SMART hearings haven't started yet.
No, I'm talking about the
Oh.
study. Has the study been done?
It's my belief it has. They
Okay,
were working on it.
okay.
But you know what, that's the question I should have had an answer to. And what I'll do is I'll look for that and I'll follow up with you and the committee and send notes, or if the study's been published and released, I'll get that to you.
Yeah, because I would like to see the study, and I just wanted to know if the study has been done before they do the legislative, because it doesn't make sense why would they move forward with legislation and they passed a study? So yeah, if you could find out, that would be fantastic.
You betcha. And then I have been told that Rhonda Fields will be running a no-knock warrants bill to implement recommendations from the study that she was involved with. And the recommendations are to change the conditions of granting a no-knock warrant, require specialized training, require accountability after the no-knock is performed, and data collection for race, ethnicity, neighborhoods, that kind of thing. CML, by the way, is presenting this to the policy committee on December 2nd, because I think they would really like a position on this. Senator Fields wants to go beyond the scope of the study recommendations and possibly include more data collection and have more information on the racial impact statements, and potentially limit the use of no-knock warrants. And that's about it for me right now. I'm open to questions. I didn't go through the ballot initiatives. If you'd like me to, I can. Just what passed and what didn't pass.
Well, first I'll ask the committee, do you have any questions on the summary that Tatsi brought forth about potential bills that are coming forward? Councilmember Marcano, yes, Councilmember Marcano.
Thank you, Councilmember Lawson, and thank you, Tatsi, for that overview. I am curious about the statewide zoning effort. You said they haven't really had any stakeholder meetings yet. Is this going to be something, or do you suspect this is going to be something along the lines of, I think, what California recently did, where they just kind of basically upzoned anything that would be considered R1 statewide?
I believe so. I think that that's the model that they're looking at, but I've been talking to, excuse me, I've been talking to CML about this for a couple weeks, and they are not really They're not sharing anything. I also called the Home Builders Association to see what they knew about this,
Mhm.
and I haven't had a return phone call.
Okay. That's an interesting proposition. I know that's something that we're looking at here in the city. I didn't think that the state would want to do that, especially given the local control preference that we seem to have here in the state. But that's interesting news. So thank you for that.
You betcha. I think CML is, well, in talking to them about this issue, they're really concerned about it. They think it'll be a huge fight.
Yeah, I think it would be too.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Gardner, do you have any questions for Totsi on the overview that she provided?
No questions for me, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember Arcano and Councilmember Gardner, do you have any questions? I think we kind of know about the initiatives, but are you good with her going? You want her to go over the initiatives, or do you have any questions about the initiatives that passed?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
read about what passed and didn't pass.
Okay.
Already up to speed
Councilmember
there.
Arcano? Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
We'll move forward. Cammie, do you have any updates as well?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. I just have an update on the governor's public safety investment package, which he proposed in his budget at the beginning of November. He has asked for $42.1 million in public safety investments to increase tools and resources to reduce auto thefts, also to reduce crime and support communities, and support the recruitment and retention of officers, and increase intervention and crime prevention strategies.
Councilmember Marcano and Councilmember Gardner, do you have any questions on that? Any more in-depth information that you would like to request on that, or do you have any comments?
Yes, Councilmember Lawson.
Yes, Councilmember Marcano.
Thank you. I'd be interested to see what initiatives they're looking at, especially as it comes to law enforcement performance. I think our closure rates in Colorado are pretty pitiful, and I think that's true across the nation for most major crimes, especially motor vehicle theft. So I'm wondering if that's something that has been brought up as part of this discussion.
It has not specifically been noted, but I'm happy to dig further and get back to you, Councilman.
All right, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilmember Gardner?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Cammie, for that. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting legislative year coming up. So thank you for all of the information that you've provided. Okay, so we're going to go to 2023 state priorities. Roberto, let's talk about this.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I just wanted to circle back on this as we are finalizing on Monday night the state and federal priorities. We have a few other items that we just need to clean up because of some voting technical difficulties we had during the last study session. So we should have a final state priorities document for our lobbyists. And I did share with Tati and Peggy the version that we have up to date, and we may have some changes here at the end. As you know, Councilmember Lawson and I had a discussion about some of the priorities and where we will end up, and in terms of where we will be positioned with the delegation and the legislature, given the recent elections and other developments in terms of how the priorities are going to shake out. I think in talking with Peggy and talking with Tatsi as well, I think, you know, they're focused on their priorities as a delegation for sure, and we certainly have that document, and it is a document of our priorities, but obviously the state legislature and the delegation will move forward on what they're looking to do, and we want to make sure that we have, even though there may be some differences in what our priorities are and that we keep those lines of communication open, and that Angela in particular as chair work with Peggy and Tatsi to be able to have kind of one-on-one communications with legislators, as we did in the fall, but kind of circle back after the priorities in order to be able to explain and give some context to where we landed on some of those, and also to keep the lines of communication open in terms of what they are proposing, and that ultimately, as everybody on this committee knows, those bills move forward on a case-by-case basis. You know, we take positions on a case-by-case basis. While we have state priorities in that document, we will take positions on each bill individually and would be open to wanting to work with legislators on those priorities. So just trying to keep those lines of communication open, I think, is what I really wanted to bring forth as it relates to the state priorities. So I don't know if Tatsi has anything to add, but Peggy and I had a discussion, since she can't be here. Tatsi and I talked as well about perhaps circling back with you, Councilmember Lawson, as the chair, just to reach out to individual legislators as needed, especially in the delegation, in terms of where they're at with priorities before the session starts.
Okay. And I appreciate that. And I think that, you know, we are coming up to committees again. So, you know, I'm the chair right now, so I don't know what committees, you know, people are going to be put on. But whoever the chair is, I think with our priorities, because we did have some limitations in the affordable housing piece, I think sometimes it might send a message, and I'm trying to make sure that whoever's the chair, that we really do keep those lines of communication open with the delegation to let them know that we are looking at the bills, and I just, you know, outside of what we have here on our priorities. So that's going to be really key for whoever the chair of this is going to be.
Yeah, and Councilmember Lawson, I think that it's important to note that while the council's priorities may have changed, the city's priorities may have changed, I think a lot of priorities are changing in the state house as well. And
Okay.
I think that it's such a fluid process that our delegation will understand that maybe some things had to be tweaked. I don't really see that as a big problem, but I think it's better to get ahead of it and, you know, let them know, hey, you know, we want to sit down and go over a couple of things or have a call or something. I would agree with Roberto and Peggy on that.
Right. I mean, it's better to be proactive than reactive. So I just always would like to have a game plan with that. And whoever the chair of Pfizer will be, I think it's going to be important as a priority for them to do so. Councilmember Marcano and Councilmember Gardner, do you have any comments on this?
No, just my 2 cents is that I'm pretty sure I know our delegation is aware that our council is very out of step with the residents of Aurora, so I think they're already keeping that in mind. But so I appreciate your, you know, perspective on that as well.
Councilmember Gardner?
No comments.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, Roberto, on that. Do we have Lori on?
Unfortunately, her flight took off, so she was not able to join in. She had some trouble at the first technical difficulties. Apologizes profusely. So she's sending me the report. We'll put it in the chat, or we'll send it to the committee members. It's kind of a post-election slide deck that's actually a nice, tight description of what's going on with leadership. So she apologizes. We will have her back on the next Pfizer committee, but she had to catch a plane and it got caught up with the time change of the committee, and she was trying to fit it in and just couldn't do it. So she apologizes, and we'll have a report sent to you via email.
Okay, that sounds good. That would work. Kathy told me there is no water update, so let's go ahead and move to the 2023 Cherry Creek APS Intergovernmental Update Plan that we had discussed
Sure.
a couple meetings ago.
Cindy, can you share that document that just says document that I sent you, not the Lori email?
Right, I am loading it now. Are you able to see that?
Yeah,
It's really small.
if you can get it, if you can increase the size a little bit.
And just for context, because I know Councilmember Gardner wasn't here. Councilmember Gardner, the reason why we're bringing this up, we had APS, we had Dr. Kiki here, and we also had Councilmember Marcano. It was I forgot it, Jasper, right?
Jasper,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, we had from Cherry Creek come and talk to us about the partnership and collaboration that we could have with APS. So I think that that's going to be really an integral part of this committee, to maybe have like a kind of a, definitely make sure we have this communication, especially with everything that's going on in the school district with repurposing and school closures and just everything that's happening. So I think it should be definitely part of this committee for someone to come from Cherry Creek School District and also APS to update our committee. So this is kind of an outreach plan that I wanted to have Roberto establish. So that's kind of the basis of what we're discussing, Councilmember Gardner. And I'll let Roberto go forward.
Yeah. So
Can you see that now?
can you hear me okay? Yeah, Cindy, that's good. Perfect. This is a draft. Obviously, this is more for a piece for you guys to react and add as you'd like. We will build on it for the next FSIR committee. Whoever's on that committee, propose it to them probably in the January meeting for them to be able to finalize it and start with a plan. But this is the beginnings. Obviously, State of the District is something that Superintendent Munn has done in the past. He's doing that on Monday, in fact, coincidentally. So we would probably try to get Cherry Creek School District to do the same. They all are on different calendars in terms of and I'm putting State of the District in quotes. I mean, they do different things, but it would be just an update for the study session for council to kind of hear what's going on, overview with each of the districts, and formally have that on an annual basis so that there's that touch point. It's a public meeting and council members can hear what's going on in each district. So kind of formalizing that process would be the first step. The next one is the quarterly updates. So Pfizer obviously meets very often during the legislature and then monthly after. We would do this kind of every 3 months, every 4 times a year, bringing in, so, you know, last time we had a board member from Aurora and we had somebody in the community engagement and outreach division of Cherry Creek Schools. I would envision that these quarterly updates would be from each district, and they would be on particular topics of interest for them and for us. So I shared some bullets there, so things in the past that we've looked at that have been of interest that we could reach out to staff. Obviously, the school districts are a larger organization than we are. In fact, they're huge. So kind of getting who in the divisions and the districts that we'd want to hear from. Some of the things that we've talked about in the past, and just frankly, community outreach and engagement efforts. What are they doing in the areas? How are we working with them on their outreach and engagement efforts? Who is responsible for those? Who should we be talking to when we have outreach to the school districts? Who are our counterparts there in each of those school districts, and what are their kind of priorities as they're looking forward in the school district? Public safety initiatives, you know, the SRO, PAR officers, and how we work with the school districts. That's always been a topic of interest. How they're deployed, where they're deployed, who are our officers, how are they deployed in each of the school districts? Are they for certain schools? That changes from year to year at times. So we want to give this an opportunity for them to talk to us a little bit about what that looks like for each of the districts. You guys just saw an IGA that came through. I think it was for Cherry Creek. So it's getting into a little more depth in that in the Pfizer committee about what it looks like, how it's operationalized, how APD does it, how they do it, what are the kinds of, I hate to say calls for service, what are the kinds of activities that they're associated with, right? What are they doing with these kids and in these schools, and how effective are they in doing that? Shared facility opportunities, right? Tons of things here, both libraries, rec centers, fields, etc. There's a lot going on, but this would be an opportunity for, as an intergovernmental, to kind of understand what are we doing now, what could we do more, where the a lot of these things don't rise to the surface because we're not having these conversations about, hey, you could use that field, or we're always hearing organizations and sports facilities and leagues that don't have enough space, right? Don't have enough space, don't have enough fields, don't have enough practice times. So really maximizing and having a strong relationship so that we know what the school districts can do and what we have by way of facilities and fields for athletic fields and library facilities as well, and rec centers. Board specific initiatives, right? What is the board looking at? Are there things that they want to brief FSIR on? We could certainly have that as a topic. Bond campaigns. The school district is always bringing forward, I shouldn't say always, very often, either Cherry Creek or Aurora, from year to year has some kind of bond campaign. And so this would be an opportunity to hear and be briefed on what they're looking at or what they may be looking for in the future. And then a review of current IGA and MOUs in place with each district. I see these a lot. They kind of go through, council approves them, but it would be nice to get a good kind of overview of what we do with the school districts by way of IGAs and MOUs across the board. So these quarterly updates would be not limited to these items, but these are some of the items that we could look at as topics and meet with them. Then obviously on the more informal side, relationship building side, kind of elected to electeds. The school board meeting with council members for a breakfast at the beginning of the year, a kickoff, you know, to support the school district, to meet at a school and meet with school board members and the superintendent, have the mayor and the city council meet with them in an informal setting, reception, dinner, lunch. So I think that would be a good opportunity, informal opportunity at the beginning of the year, school year, or at the end of the school year, wherever it might be appropriate and schedules permit to do that with each of the school districts. The one thing that I didn't include here is going the other direction. I can't remember a time when any council members or any of the mayor has formally gone to a school board meeting or some kind of school event. I know we've done informally, you get invited to go read to a classroom or visit a school. There's certainly a way to continue with that, but I think maybe having an opportunity for us to be able to bring city business, city initiatives that are you know, relevant to the school district to a school board meeting, right? And working with Superintendent Munn to get on that agenda, or the superintendent in Cherry Creek, to bring a little bit more of our work and your priorities around whatever the case may be. If it's homelessness, housing, youth violence, affordable housing, public safety, I could see a real good opportunity to bring the interim chief out to the school board and have a discussion with them about the new chief and an introduction, right? The chair of this committee could certainly be involved with the corresponding committees in the school board. So I didn't list that here, but I'll add it. That would be my other you know, recommendation in terms of outreach and having more formal opportunities as we bringing our whatever priorities we want to bring, whatever updates we want to bring to a formal setting on the school district side. So with that, I'll just open it up to questions or revisions, additions, things you might want to see based on this list.
Well, Roberto, I'm glad that you're going to think about having it go reverse, because I think we need to be whoever I on this committee, a person on this committee, however, we need to go that way too, and be at the school board meeting and see if we can work with them on maybe giving an update, because that's that liaison part and that collaboration. So I definitely want to make sure that that's added on here, because it can't be one way. We have to go the other way too. So how that's going to look, I think we got to first work it out with you know, I don't know with the superintendents or the school board, but I think that they might appreciate that, and I think that we need to make sure that that is done that way as well. So I don't know if we have to get approvals or whatever, but we definitely need to work on that. Councilmember Marcano, do you have any? I mean, we could kind of look at this list and maybe take a look at it and see whatever that we want to include. But if you do have any comments, or do you want anything added to the list?
So thank you, Councilmember Lawson. No, I'm really excited about this, and I want to thank you for supporting this initiative, and thank you, Roberto, for the work you've put into this. I think this is a really great place to start. You know, the goal, I think, is to, over the next several years, right, and hopefully long beyond our time on council, is to strengthen the relationship between our school districts and the city, because there's so many of those issues that we need to collaborate on to really tackle, right? Housing instability, food insecurity, obviously public safety, and more. So I'm really excited about the direction that you have here for the beginning of this effort. And I just hope that it's successful and that we get some strong buy-in from our both of our school boards as well.
Okay. Councilmember Gardner, do you have any ideas, or do you want to comment?
No, nothing to add to it, but just appreciate the initiative, and I think it's a good idea, as Councilmember Marcano said. So looking forward to seeing how it develops.
Okay. So thank you, Roberto, for all the work that you put into this. I really do appreciate it.
Sure, I'll send it along to you guys. If you do have any other thoughts, just please feel free to respond back. And I also just want to mention that it'll be a point of emphasis for the intergovernmental relations manager when they are hired and put in place, for that individual to have this as one of their priorities. So they will be tasked as staff to be able to make this happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our next item, any miscellaneous? Do you have anything that you want us for? We're going to have our final meeting on December 16th. I know I'm pushing it before Christmas, but we got to have a wrap up. So yep. I hope that date works for all of you, Councilmember Marcano and Councilmember Gardner. If it doesn't,
yes, it'll work for me.
Okay.
Yep, it works for me.
Okay, and that'll be kind of our wrap up. conclusion for this year. So do you have any other miscellaneous items that you want to talk about, Councilmember Marcano and Councilmember Gardner?
No, I have a question for you about the conference. How's it going?
Oh, actually, it's really good. They have some really good good sessions. So I've been enjoying it. I just sat on a panel with mayors and city council people all over talking about public safety stuff. And Councilmember Gardner, you were mentioned because your gun back program. I just told them what you were doing. I didn't know the statistics on it. So
Yeah, they had I was going to go to the conference and they had invited us,
right.
Councilmember Sawyer and I, to present on the gun buyback program at that. So yeah, I'm glad to hear they
I
mentioned
did
it.
bring it up and gave you some good good reviews, but I didn't know the statistical information. So I did say that we did turn those, the guns into garden tools, and a lot of the people in the room were like, "Wow, that's a good idea." So
Well, for this group, I mean, I know that session's already over, but the final number for over the 8 events was 906 firearms.
Hey,
okay.
that's
I wish
great.
I would have had that. I should have asked you. I didn't know that was you were even attending. So I apologize.
You're fine.
But gave you good reviews on that. Otherwise, it's been a great conference. So I
That's
wish
awesome.
I wasn't the only one here. I'm the only council member here representing Aurora. So
Yeah, I would have been there, but with my surgery wound reopening, I couldn't travel, unfortunately.
next year it's in Atlanta.
Oh, Hotlanta, let's go.
So yes. So any other further comments? Any other?
Yes, Councilmember Lawson, I have an answer to your question about the study.
Okay.
The task force is meeting 2 more times during December, and the study is due on December 30th, and then they are to make a presentation to the judicial committees and human service committees during their SMART hearings.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that.
I
That's
didn't have
good
that.
information. So, okay, if there's nothing else, thank you everyone for readjusting your schedule, and have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Yep, you as well. Take care, everybody.
Travel safely. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, same to
too,
you.
Tatsi.
Same to everybody. Bye, Tatsi.
Bye-bye.